Have you ever looked at your garden and wondered why the soil just never seems to improve? You water it, you dig it, you spend money on bags of fertilizer, and it still looks pale, dry, and lifeless. What if the thing that could fix it is sitting in your house right now? Not a product, not a tool, something you probably tossed in the recycling bin this week. Cardboard. Plain, brown cardboard. And when you use it the right way, it can turn dead, tired soil into something dark, soft, and full of life, faster than you'd expect. Part 1. Why cardboard actually works. Most people think of cardboard as trash, but your soil sees it very differently. Here's what's really happening when you lay cardboard on the ground. You're not just covering the surface. You're creating a safe, protected space where soil life can get to work. And that matters because good soil isn't built by products. It's built by living things. Bacteria, fungi, worms, tiny organisms you'll never see with your eyes. They're the real builders. Cardboard is made from plant fibers. Those fibers break down slowly, and as they do, they become food for all those underground workers. Fungi start threading through the cardboard. Bacteria move in. Worms come looking for the feast. Over time, what started as a flat brown sheet becomes part of the soil itself. Dark, crumbly, rich, and alive. And the best part? You don't do any of the work. The soil does it for you. No turning, no heat, no strong smells, no complicated system. Just quiet, steady transformation happening under the surface while you go about your day. That kind of soil, the dark, crumbly kind, holds water longer, feeds plant roots steadily, and doesn't need constant fertilizer top-ups. It does the job on its own. Part 2. This isn't new. Farmers knew this long ago. Before garden centers existed, before bags of synthetic fertilizer lined the shelves, farmers built their soil the slow way. They layered straw, leaves, plant cuttings, kitchen scraps, anything fibrous and organic they could find, directly on the ground. They didn't know the science behind it. They didn't use words like cellulose or microbial activity, but they watched the results. Darker soil, softer ground, fewer weeds, better harvests. They understood something simple. Tired land doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be fed and left alone. That's still true today. A lot of modern gardening convinces you that every problem needs a product. But living soil doesn't need more force. It needs the right conditions. Carbon, moisture, darkness, protection, and time. Cardboard gives it all of that at once. And when you realize that, it's actually a relief, because suddenly gardening becomes simpler. Part 3. How to use it, step by step. This method is one of the most body-friendly things you can do in the garden. No heavy digging, no hauling big bins, no complicated ratios to figure out. Here's all you do. Get plain brown cardboard, the kind without shiny coating. Remove any tape or staples. Then lay it flat directly over your garden bed. Don't till the soil first. Don't dig. Just lay it down. Overlap the edges slightly so weeds can't find the gaps. Think of it like tucking the soil in under a blanket, then soak it well. Really wet it down until it softens and presses down against the soil below. That moisture is the signal. It tells the biology in the soil that something good has arrived. After that, add a layer on top. Compost, garden soil, mulch, or a mix. That top layer keeps the cardboard damp, adds more food for soil life, and protects the whole system from drying out in the sun. Then you walk away. That's it. The process has started. Part 4. Want it to work faster? Do this. If you want to speed things up, layer organic material on top of the cardboard before you add your mulch or compost. Cardboard is full of carbon, but soil life also needs nitrogen to keep moving efficiently. When you give it both, decomposition picks up pace nicely. Grass clippings work well. So do fallen leaves, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, or old plant cuttings. Lay those on top of the cardboard, then cover everything with a thin layer of compost or soil. Wet each layer lightly as you go. What you end up with is a kind of layered system, each layer feeding the next, each layer keeping moisture in and weed seeds out. Some people call it lasagna gardening. And just like a good lasagna, the layers are what make it work. In some cases, you can be planting into this bed within just a few weeks. Roots push straight through the softened cardboard and into the improving soil below. Why it works faster than you'd think. A lot of people expect something this gentle to take forever, but that's not usually how it goes. Cardboard changes the soil from multiple directions at the same time. As it softens, it opens tiny air spaces in the ground. Those air channels reduce compaction and let roots breathe and move freely. Plants grow better in soil that isn't suffocating. Fungi spread through the area and begin connecting roots to water and nutrients further away. It's like building underground supply lines for your plants. Moisture stays in the soil much longer. Once the cardboard softens, it acts almost like a sponge. You end up watering less, especially in warm weather. For a lot of gardeners, that alone is worth it. And weeds? Cardboard blocks the light they need to sprout. Many never get started. The ones already there often get smothered before they can push back through. Less bending, less pulling, less frustrating weekend work. Over time, a few months, a season, maybe two, that pale, hard ground you started with becomes something different. Darker, softer, moister, noticeably more alive. Works in every season. One of the things I love about this method is that there's no wrong time to start. Spring is a great time to lay it down before you plant. Put it down, wet it, cover it, let spring rain and warming soil do the early work. By the time you're ready to put in tomatoes or herbs, the bed is already improving. Summer means you need to keep the moisture up, but warm weather helps the cardboard break down faster too. A thicker mulch layer on top keeps things cool and cuts down on how often you need to water. Autumn might be the most natural fit of all. Leaves are everywhere, and they pair perfectly with cardboard. Layer them on top, let cooler temperatures slow the weeds, and let the microbes keep working quietly into the colder months. By spring, the bed will feel genuinely renewed. Winter slows things down, but doesn't stop them. Rain, frost, and snow all help soften the cardboard with zero effort from you. It's a quiet, rebuilding season. Small garden, raised bed, containers, still works. You don't need a big yard. This works in small spaces just as well. In a raised bed, cut the cardboard to size and layer it at the bottom or between soil layers. It suppresses weeds from below and holds moisture so the bed doesn't dry out as fast between waterings. In containers, smaller pieces tucked into the lower half of the potting mix improve soil structure over time. Roots go deeper, plants stay healthier. It's a quiet upgrade that most people would never think to try. Even narrow strips, patio planters, balcony gardens, cardboard is lightweight, easy to cut, and simple to handle. You don't need to be strong or flexible. You just need to be willing to try it once. But what about termites? This is the question almost everyone asks, and it's a fair one. Here's the honest answer. Termites are drawn to dense, dry, upright timber they can tunnel through. Flat cardboard soaked and pressed against moist soil is not what they're looking for. Once you wet the cardboard and cover it, its structure softens and collapses. That's actually the opposite of what termites want. They prefer dry, structured wood. What you've created is a soft, wet, decomposing sheet, which is much more attractive to worms, fungi, and bacteria than it is to termites. And because it breaks down relatively quickly, it doesn't sit in a form they'd find useful for long anyway. When you use this method properly, soaked, covered, kept moist, you're building a soil environment, not a termite habitat. Part 9. The bigger picture. Here's what surprises a lot of gardeners after they try this for a season or two. The benefits go beyond better soil. The whole experience of being in the garden shifts. Instead of fighting weeds every weekend, you're dealing with far fewer of them. Instead of watering every other day, the soil holds moisture long enough to give you a break. Instead of chasing nutrient problems with bag after bag of fertilizer, the soil starts feeding the plants on its own. Sandy ground starts holding water better. Clay becomes easier to work. Roots spread further. Plants handle dry stretches in summer heat without the same stress they used to show. And the workload drops. You're building from above, laying layers, watering lightly, then stepping back. The physical effort is gentle. The results are real. That combination, less work, better results, is exactly what most gardeners are quietly hoping for. Part 10. A garden that grows with you. Something personal starts to happen over time. The garden stops feeling like something you have to fight and starts feeling like something you're in conversation with. Each season of layering adds to what the previous season built. The soil gets richer, roots go deeper, water stays longer, plants come back stronger. Even beds that once looked hopeless, hard, pale, dry, compacted, start to change. Not overnight, but steadily, season by season, in a way that feels genuinely satisfying. And the more the soil improves, the less it needs from you. Fewer corrections, less fertilizer, less emergency watering, less starting over. That kind of garden, the kind that takes care of itself more and more each year, is one of the best things you can build. Not because you forced it into being, but because you worked with what nature already knows how to do. Part 11. How often do you need to do it? As often as you want. That's genuinely the answer. Most gardeners do it once a year, usually in autumn when cardboard is easy to collect and the weather is comfortable to work in. Others just refresh the spots that start drying out too fast or showing weed pressure again. Some people do one bed now, another next month. A small section this season, another patch in spring. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't have to commit to a big project. That's one of the best things about this method. It fits around your life. It works at whatever pace you can give it. And every layer you add keeps building. More worms over time, softer soil, better moisture, stronger plants. It compounds quietly, season after season. If your soil has ever felt discouraging, too hard, too dry, too lifeless, this is a genuinely hopeful place to start. It doesn't ask much of you. A few sheets of cardboard, some water, a covering layer, and the patience to let nature do what it already knows how to do. The next time a delivery arrives at your door, don't throw that box away. Flatten it, soak it, lay it down, and cover it. Then come back in a few weeks and see what's changed. You might be surprised how alive tired ground can become. If this kind of simple, low-effort gardening is your kind of thing, subscribe and stick around. We'll keep building better soil together, one easy step at a time.